Okay, we're running out of time, but we do have room for one or two questions, I guess, before we wind this all up. Is there anybody who would like to ask a question or a comment very briefly?
Thank you. No, congratulations everyone for those who really presented. I've actually seen these presentations before, but I'm still amazed at the efforts that these guys have been doing. Now, my question really is for everybody. I was just wondering, I know that these practices are being presented in all the opportunities that you've got, but I think there's a lot of things that we can learn from this. How can this be further promoted and probably be replicated in not just in your respective countries, but in other countries as well? I'm glad that there's this opportunity to do that, but perhaps there's more, I don't know, perhaps ADB or whoever may be able to help promote these practices for other countries to also learn from this. Thank you.
David Sanders from the European Environment Agency. I'd like to add to that and ask, we've been given these discs, right? Very interesting set of practices, very interesting presentations about what can actually be done, as we said, on the ground. And there are many other similar practices in many other parts of the world. The outcome document is talking a lot about knowledge transfer, knowledge sharing, information sharing. And it's a synergistic thing. It's not just giving somebody else your experience. It's actually learning and interacting. So what's your vision of learning and interacting, not just within the Asian region, Asian Pacific region, also with other regions as well?
Thank you for those. And I guess we can ask any of the panelists to try and respond. Yes, Dr. Kua.
Testing. Is it on?
Yes.
Please. Yeah, I'd like to respond to the reach beyond Asia, and for my case, beyond Singapore. Actually, the result of my study has been presented to an international group of think tanks, or rather of academics. It's under EWI, which is the Economic Web Institute, back in 2009. So what we have done is that the key results has been actually published into a book, actually an e-book, which can be downloaded from the web. And from the feedback from the director of EWI, I understand that a group or several groups in Africa, including Nigeria, is interested to adopt the key concepts behind CSDR. However, I would have to say that because of the lack of link between myself and these groups in Africa, that kind of knowledge transfer has not been really as complete as we want it to be. So this is something that maybe we as a group would like to look at, i.e. in how we can more effectively transfer the knowledge from one country to another, from one region to another. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else care to react or respond to the comments? Oh, you wanted to follow up?
No, I'm just inspired with what he said and what David said. The need for it to be interactive, and it's not just one way. And probably this is the occasion, especially because we're in UNEP, and perhaps I don't know if UNEP can be the godfather of this. Maybe a network can be organized now, a network of all these good practices. There should be some kind of a platform wherein these guys who are involved in this can really share this with others. I don't know the mechanics, but I was just looking at the possibility of really putting this all together in a more organized way.
Thank you.
Just adding one more point. So this idea is really to exchange good practice within Asia and Pacific. But as David mentioned, that maybe it's better to look for inter-regional collaboration, and the Asia-Europe Environmental Forum colleagues are here, and the Asia-Africa nexus linkages can be explored. Latin America, Asia, I think we can look for inter-regional or global mechanisms where our inputs can be further shared beyond our regional borders. Thank you.
Thank you. We're practically out of time, but we'll give one quick chance to David again.
Just to point out that if you go into the corner there and look at the Eye on Biodiversity, Eye on, there's one called Eye on Global Network of Networks. And the idea there is to help facilitate exactly the thing that you were talking about there, Ella, of trying to bring such initiatives together. And that could be one structure to support these ideas.
Indeed, that seems to be one very important, actionable agenda that we should be working on. Those of us who have been involved in the APFED Showcase Programme and those who will be involved in the ADB Poverty and Environment Initiative, I think indeed it's all about knowledge sharing and making it a two-way process between different countries and again, starting with looking at exchanges between different regions of the world. Anyway, I will have to cut this short. I will not read through the recommendations that we have synthesized out of our various presentations today, but I think they are flashed on the board. We can all just read it. I think the whole point really is that there are lessons to be learned from actions on the ground. And in a sense, the force of the bottom-up mechanisms for sustainable development, in a way, could be stronger than the top-down forces. There's a lot happening at the top level, the discussions at the international level among heads of state, ministers of environment and development, and so on. But in the end, the lessons to be learned are lessons that are coming right from below, from actions on the ground, from actions in the sea, from actions from the different players in the economy, especially the private sector and civil society. And I think we simply have to not put all of this knowledge that we have gained through actual experience to waste. And that's the reason why, in the end, we ought to be working for sustainable development the way that we had always been defining it to be. It is really working for our welfare today without compromising the welfare of future generations to come. With that, I'd like to end this afternoon's presentation. Thank you very much. I'd like to give you closing remarks, of course, are coming from our gracious host, Dr. Young-Woo Park of UNEP Regional Office for Asia and the Pacific. Dr. Park.
Thank you, Habito. And thank you all the participants and presenters. I think at the last discussion, I think you come out with the important things, how to bring this experience together and then replicate and share and to help the people in the regions and areas. So I think that's homework I'm taking back home, and in that regard, I might have to turn to ADB or EU how to actualize this what we discussed here. I think the important thing of this is when I learned this at first, when I joined the UNEP ROAP, the sustainability of the project and also continuity of the project is very high, which is very important. It is high because people, they are the ones who develop the ideas and they are the ones who implement it. So it is their own. They have ownership. And also they know what they need and how to do it. And that's why when you hear the presentation, you can feel the passion and empathy there. And so, but right now, unfortunately, because of the financial difficulties, the continuity of this the program is up in the air. But I'm still looking for the other donors because we need further enhance these programs, and also as you all raised, the replication and of this the project and learning from each other and the teaching is very important. Communicate with the community is more important than the expert communicating with the people, because experts, they may have something understand here, but they don't have this. But you who has involved in this project, you have your hearts in the project. That's what made this program so successful. So I think we have to continue. Thank you very much for everything you have done, and let's work together. If we work together, we can make differences. You have shown it and proved it. Thank you very much. Thank you.